What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of All the Mods 7 to the Sky. Guys, last few episodes we've been working on trying to make this crazy thing. We only have one item remaining, this antimatter item. And yeah, I think we're going to start working on that today. So this is coming from the FTB Industrial Contraptions mod, Contraptions. And I do believe you make that with the Antimatter constructor, this machine here. So yeah, we need to make this machine, and we also need to power this. So power is where my attention is right now. It says it has a maximum input of 8,192, which is quite a lot. In fact, right now, I think we're only using these HV solar panels. We have a few of those set up. I think like 6 of them or 8 of them set up over here just to power these machines. We have 6 of them. Yeah. So that's not a whole lot of power. We have 6 of these. What is that? It's like 300 per tick-ish, whatever the power unit is. I don't know. The EV produces 512, but in order to make an EV one, we need blocks of netherite and we need antimatter. So we have a couple of things here, but in preparation for making these and needing blocks of netherite, I think it is time that we put our garden area over here, our mystical agriculture area over here, to use making some netherite. So let's back up a little bit here. So netherite, netherite seed, these guys. So in order to make one of these seeds, we need 4 netherite ingots, and then we need 4 of the supremium essence, and that makes a netherite seed. The netherite seed produces this netherite essence. 8 netherite essence makes 1 netherite ingot. Okay, so we could make 1 seed, and that would take forever. However, I think we should just take all of the netherite that we currently have. Well, the netherite ingots, I suppose. I don't know how much of this netherite scrap we need. I don't want to use it all and be like, oh no, now we need more netherite scrap. I mean, we could probably make that much into more netherite ingots and make an additional 16 of these seeds if we wanted to without a big deal. But let's just start with what we have here, the 12. So if we stack these all together, that's 48 of those. And we are going to need the essence, this stuff, 48 of those. That is too many. Let's do this, 50, 48 next. And we'll get that cooking up here. Okay, so that's going to take a little bit of time for the system to process all of that. It won't be super long, but it'll take a little bit of time. All right, so we have that going, and then we are also going to need the prosperity seed base. I don't remember if I put that on AutoCraft. Prosperity seed base. I do not have those. So we can just craft up, I guess, 12 of those. Like so, not a big deal. Okay, so we have those. We're just waiting on the supremium essence. And I was also over here kind of looking at this a little bit ago. We have these different seeds here. Like we made a coal seed. We made some wood seeds we're not using anymore. Our bees have been producing the woods, the wood that we have been using. We made some deep slate seeds a long time ago, and then we had some inferium seeds, but we don't even have those going anymore. We still have 156,000 essence, but we should probably get those seeds back in the rotation at some point. Anyway, the only seeds that we currently have going are these end seeds. And if we take a look, end essence, we have 111,000 end essence. What are we even using this stuff for? If we look at the uses, we can combine that with nature essence, which we haven't made yet, to make some coarse fruit. We can make some purple blocks out of it. We can make a lot of end stone. That looks like all of the uses. It might be time that we turn this off and stop the end seeds from going here. So I will remove that. It doesn't look like we're getting any new ones being replanted. Just taking a while for this gatherer, for some reason, to gather all of these plants. Why are you taking so long? What are you doing? Show working area? You don't have that many spots to look at. Why does it take so long for this thing to like remove it all? I have no idea. Anyway, so that's all done. All the seeds are gone. We will be able to set this up for the netherite seeds as soon as we get all the supremium essence, which is going to take a little bit of time. So I'll be right back. I don't remember if I showed this the last time we did this or if I did this all off camera. But anyway, I put some hoppers on top of these pedestals here. Look, it looks like there's something in there, an end seed. Why is there an end seed in there? That's weird. Yeah, so anyway, I put hoppers on top of here so the hoppers can feed the item down onto these pedestals and I don't have to replace them for every single seed. So the only thing I should have to do is right click a seed onto here. It just automatically starts because we're powering with the redstone signal. And then once this is done, I just right click twice and then we get ourselves our new seed. So there's our first netherite seed and there's our second one. We'll be back. All right, so it should just be a matter of me adding this as a filter, putting the seeds into here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this up to 64, which we don't have that many seeds, but it's fine. Should we add in more, we won't have to adjust that later. And, oh, that end seed ended up over there. It'll get harvested and go back into the system. That is perfectly okay. So this netherite stuff, netherite, yeah, we don't have a spot for this essence. We already got 12 of the essence, which means we have enough for 1 ingot back, right? Yes, we do. Okay, so there's our first ingot from the essence. But yeah, we need to get ourselves a drawer, someplace to store this stuff. And we're going to want some upgrades for this. Void upgrade. Yeah, we're going to need that. And we're going to need the copper upgrades most likely. So it is that and then 4 of those. All right, perfect. So yeah, we are good to go on that. We'll put the essence in here. And then I'll just find a spot. Probably over here on this drawer wall. Yeah, we'll just throw it right into here next to the end essence. Oh, so this has... Okay, interesting. This has 6,000... end essence in here, but we have 100,000. Did the rest of those go onto our digital storage? If they did, we don't have any red lights, so did I have a second drawer set up for that essence? Maybe back over here? I don't know where all that extra end essence is. I'll have to figure that out. So the new changes that they made to Applied Energistics are pretty nice. It'll show you the items that are on these discs. Well, at least I think this is Applied Energistics. Maybe this is some mod that's adding that in there. But anyway, it shows the top 5 biggest items on your drives without even having to do anything else here. But yeah, you can see we are very close to being capped out on space on this disc. We have 70,000 of that end essence. And over here, I saw we had one that had like 24,000. Yeah, so a lot of that went to our digital storage, but because it's split up on multiple drives, I had no idea it was even there. All right, well, yeah, I'll go ahead and move this stuff out of our digital storage and into that drawer. But anyway, yeah, let's continue on. Well, at this point, I think our netherite issues are solved. We're up to almost 2,000 netherite essence at this point. So yeah, I ended up making quite a few more seeds. I think we have about half a stack, like 32 of them. Basically enough to keep our crops planted like all the time. We probably won't leave these things going for forever. We'll swap back to essence at some point in the future. But for right now, I do want to collect a supply of this stuff. And I did end up getting all of our end essence transferred over into this drawer here. And I did finally put in the upgrades and overflow protection on that one as well. So now that we have that stuff done, we were looking at making an antimatter constructor so we can make antimatter. This is the overall goal that we want to do, is to make this antimatter. So let's see if we can make a pattern for this. And if our system knows how to craft it, it looks like we know how everything is made here. So let's just throw this pattern in. Do we have a spot for all of these? We're out of space. I'll put it, well, no, I guess we got space right here. So antimatter constructor. And if I tell it to craft, looks like everything's happy. So we'll just start this up. Is this going to take a while, or is this just going to take a few seconds here? So we already have Nether Star available. Otherwise, it would have had to spawn in a Wither Boss and then kill it. And then compressed coal balls. Looks like that might be the longest bit of this. Okay, looks like we're done. Sweet. So that's not so bad. And then this requires a bunch of power, which we don't have right now to power it fully. But we might be able to like skim some power off from over here. So we place this thing down and we're using HV cable. We have 5 of these. So I can do that and connect that in. And then we should be using all of the power that these things can send, I would imagine. But nothing's happening. Okay, well, things are happening, but not as fast as I would have expected. Is the HV cable limited? This can do 512. Okay, so that might be the problem. Yeah, I would have expected like all the power that's stored in these things to like transfer over, but I guess that's not how this all works. Well, anyway, we can see there is power coming in here and things are happening. I'm also pretty sure that you can put something in here like scrap. Is that a thing that is in this mod? Yeah, so there is scrap. And you can do that with a reprocessor. Any item turns into scrap. Okay. So maybe we should look at making one of these. I'm not entirely sure. I guess the thing is, how much of this antimatter are we going to need? We just need one to complete this philosopher's fuel recipe. We still also have to make the pressure chamber and get all this stuff done. But yeah, this is the one thing that we need. So if we can get that when this completes, then I guess we're good to go for right now. And sure enough, look at that. We have an antimatter. Okay, so that's all we needed to do is just get 1 million power units into that thing, and then we're happy. So I can throw that into here, and that completes the recipe for making our philosopher's fuel, but we still need to get ourselves a pressure chamber and have, I guess, 5 PSI or just under 5 PSI in order to craft this. So that's the next thing that we're going to have to do is to jump into Pneumaticraft. All right, so if we're going to jump into Pneumaticraft, pretty much the first thing we have to do is look at a compressor, right? So everything in Pneumaticraft is done with air. We have to take air, we have to compress it, and that's what powers the machines instead of like RF or whatever. So to start off this mod, we need to basically get ourselves the very base level air compressor, this guy right here. And this recipe has changed since the last time I have used this mod. So in order to make this, we need to have some reinforced bricks, a pressure tube, and a furnace. Well, I mean, the furnace, actually, let's just go ahead and make a recipe for this. Okay, so we have all that there. The system knows how to make a furnace. How do we make the pressurized tube? So in order to do that, we need compressed iron ingot and then glass. Well, we know how to make glass, and I'm sure we have extra, but we don't have this compressed iron. So that's definitely something that we're going to have to figure out here. So let's just find a home for these. We'll throw those into there. Okay, so compressed iron. We have a little bit. Okay, so that's nice. How do we even get this stuff? Let's look at the recipe. So in order to make compressed iron, we can get it from compressed iron honeycombs, which we'd have to make the bee. We can take iron and throw it into a pressure chamber in order to make it. Yeah, we can't quite do that yet. Or we explode iron, throw some of the input material on the ground and set off an explosion next to it. Average material loss rate 20%. Okay. Well, thankfully we have some compressed iron to start with, so we don't really have to do that. But yeah, setting off TNT next to a stack of iron would yield you about 48 iron ingots or so. All right, so let's move on. So if we do the compressor, can we craft this? We are missing the reinforced brick, right? So reinforced brick, that is... Wait a second here. Reinforced bricks come from reinforced stone. Oh. Oh, okay. So reinforced stone. Yeah, this is all new. I don't know anything about this. Reinforced stone, that comes from stone wrapped around compressed iron. I see. Okay, well, I guess that all makes sense. I really wasn't expecting this change, but you know what? The mod developer decided, or the MODPACK developer, I'm not actually sure who it was in this case. Somebody decided that these recipes need to be changed, so here we go. So there's our reinforced stone bricks, then pressure tube and air compressor. All right, so compressor, we should be good to go now. We'll start that up, and we are done. I made the advancement building up the pressure. Nice. Okay, so yeah, you can put upgrades into the air compressor, then it takes some kind of burnable fuel, and this will, let's see, I think it just does 5 bar. Does it actually say on here somewhere? It doesn't say the maximum amount. I guess right here on this gauge, it'll go up to 5 bar. Anything beyond that can be unhappy explodey time. So we don't want that. Okay, so now that we have the air compressor, we can move on to the next step, which would be, we want to make, I guess, PCBs? let's see here. If we are trying to get to the point of making, well, I guess what we'd want to do is make ourselves a better compressor. We want to make, let's see, the flux compressor. So this will take RF, converts forge energy compatible with RF and many other mods into compressed air. So yeah, instead of using like coal, for instance, to turn it into compressed air, we could use just power, which we have an abundance of, and turn that into the compressed air. I think this is where we want to go. So in order to make that, we need to have a finished PCB, which means we're going to need transistors and capacitors and an unassembled PCB. The capacitor looks like you can trade a villager for that. That's actually something kind of interesting. Okay. Otherwise, pressure chamber, we need plastic sheet, slime ball, and gold nuggets. Okay. So we need a pressure chamber before we can even worry about that. And then again, this one you can trade a villager as well. Interesting. And that is plastic sheet, redstone, and gold. Okay, so unassembled PCB. So I think there's an etching tank. Oh, this is new. Yeah, this is definitely changed since the last time I've used this mod. Fill this with etching acid and insert empty PCBs which have been exposed in a UV light box. Can optionally be heated above 50 C for progressively faster etching, but etching acid will be slowly used when heated thus. Extract unassembled PCBs from the side and failed PCBs from the top bottom. Okay. Okay. So I guess we're going to need an etching tank. And in order to make that, obsidian, reinforced brick wall. All right. So it looks like there's a bit more of this compressed iron stuff that we're going to have to do. And then etching acid was the other component to that. And in order to make etching acid, I guess we make the bucket. Put this in an etching tank, right? But how do we make it? So we need a pressure chamber in order to make the etching acid. Is that what I'm seeing here? Okay, so maybe we don't actually need to do this before we make the pressure chamber. For some reason, I thought we did, but maybe we can just pressurize that up to 1 bar using our basic air compressor. Okay, so if that's what we're seeing here, a bucket of molten plastic. Okay, well, hold on. If we need molten plastic, how do we get that? Keep going. Pour into the world of chill in an inventory with a heat frame to solidify plastic sheets. How do you get the molten plastic? So a thermo-pneumatic processing plant with biodiesel or LPG. Oh no, there is like more to this that I have forgotten. Okay, so there is a lot of stuff here. Let me go ahead and just take a moment to refresh my memory on where we need to go and how to get there. Right, so to make progress here, we do need this etching acid bucket. In order to make that, we saw that we are going to need molten plastic. So the way we get molten plastic is by processing, where was it? Where? Oh no, I guess we got to click on this, not the bucket itself. So in order to get the molten plastic, we need to process liquid propane gas, LPG, with coal in a thermo-pneumatic processing plant. And that's how you get that. LPG, you get that through a refinery. So we need crude oil in order to do that. So you can take the refinery controller and stack refinery outputs. You need 1 for it to work, but you can put up to 4 on top to get up to 4 different things. And yeah, LPG is what we're looking for, but we also will get gasoline, kerosene, and diesel for doing this. Anyway, so we want to get ourselves crude oil to put into the refinery controller for it to process. So I was just took a look in the twilight. I remember seeing a while ago when we came here that there was, yes, a little bit of oil around. Otherwise, I'm not sure how we would have dealt with this. But yeah, we want to put bucket mode on this ultimate fluid tank, and we can just go ahead and grab a bunch of this oil, and then we will be able to take that back to the base and process it. All right, so our refinery controller I have placed down. Apparently the temperature is 56 degrees Celsius, which is probably really warm for some reason. Is that ambient temperature? I'm not actually sure. Anyway, so yes, if we right click on there, we can see there's a tank for input, the current temperature, and then we have the output tanks, and they're all red because we have not placed the refinery output. So we place one here. Yeah, now we have a tank available. We place a second one, etc. Right? So yes, we want to place all of those there so we have all of these tanks available. So that's good. I did fill up this ultimate fluid tank with crude oil. We have 256 buckets of it. And I did make a vortex tube. It said that we were supposed to heat this refinery controller in order to process oil. But being that it's already 56 degrees Celsius, I'm not sure if we need to heat it. We probably still do. But anyway, so I'm going to place... Oh, that's not what I meant. This is on bucket mode. Let's take that off. We'll place that here, and then I will get myself some sort of a pipe and a wrench. That, one of those. So we have crude oil going in, and nothing's happening. Not surprising. So we do actually need to give this thing... Oh, it says say right here. We need to get it above 100 degrees Celsius in order to do something. Okay, so let's do that. So vortex tube. So the vortex tube, you have two different sides. You have a heat side, and then you have a cold side. So we want the heat side. If I place it this way, the heat side faces towards me. So we'll place the heat side right like that. And air compressor. I have no idea where the output of that is. Looks like it's right here. So let's try this again. And then a pressure tube like so. I think that's basically all we need to do. I don't know if this is going to be enough to support this, but we're going to find out. One piece of coal going in there. So we are burning it. We are building pressure. And is the temperature going up? Slightly. It is going up slightly. Okay. So yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time, apparently. The pressure is still climbing. Yeah, I don't know if pressure directly relates to how much temperature we're outputting. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, look at that. South temperature is getting really cold. That's cool. Okay, so we're up to 69 on the north temperature. South is down to 1. All right, very good. So yeah, this is going to take a little bit of time before we're able to process some stuff here. So I guess I will just keep watch on this. I'll grab some tanks. And then we'll extract out of this so we can have the different fluids going into their own separate tanks. So I've been sitting here waiting for the temperature to go up, and we're sitting at 84 degrees Celsius, which is cool. It says 84 on this and 85 in here. Which one's right? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I keep putting coal into this. Our pressure isn't rising, and our heat isn't going up. But now I seem to recall from using Pneumaticraft before that these blocks are kind of sensitive to touching air because of the heating and cooling aspect. So basically, the more surface area, the more surfaces of these blocks you have touching air, the harder it is for them to heat up. You need to kind of insulate them, if you will. So if we place some blocks around all of these exposed faces here, if my memory serves me correctly, we should start seeing the temperature rise. Oh yeah, look at that. So we're up to 88 now, 89, 90. Yep, the temperature is definitely going up. So the amount of air blocks that you have exposed to the multi-block machine affects the temperature. And this thing will never get going with the way this was set up previously. But yeah, now we are set at 98 degrees Celsius, 99, and things are happening. Okay, this is what we wanted to see, I think. Well, I think things are happening. Maybe I need to put a block on top. Okay, so yeah, the temperature is going up. We actually do have stuff in these different spots. So there we go. Yeah, we are now making diesel, kerosene, gasoline, and LPG. What about if I block that up? Does this go any faster? Well, it's not flickering anymore, so I guess that's good. All right, yep, so things are definitely happening. If we come back over here, this all looks the same. This looks fine. So this says the north temperature is at 100 degrees Celsius. The south is at minus 41, which is really cold. But yeah, I don't think there's really much else to do here except just kind of wait for the LPG to be produced. So yeah, I did set up tanks on a few of these different ones. So if we just set this to extract, we should get separate fluids into each one of these tanks, I do believe. I don't think you mix and match. Yeah, so we get diesel here. And all these fluids are out. All right, very good. So kerosene, LPG, gasoline, and diesel. So what we're looking for is this LPG, the top one here. This is what we need the most of. And it's going to take a while before we get a lot of it. Is this how you make more compressed iron? I guess we're about to find out. Magnet off. All right, so we'll place some iron into here. So the iron is escaping. Will that be too far away? I guess we'll find out. Maybe I could move that over there. Anyway, so let's light this. And... oh, it did explode. It didn't make a kaboom. Oh, you know what? I think I might have the kaboom muted. And then we have... yeah, okay, so that seems to work just fine. So we got 3 full stacks plus 7. All right, so not bad. So the reason why I wanted to do this is because our processing plant was going a little bit slow. So I added in another air compressor and I added in another vortex tube. So the way these things work is the one side gets hot and the one side gets cold. But if you heat up the side that's cold, then that means that the side that can get hot can get hotter. I believe is how that works. Anyway, so I have a hot side on this vortex tube pointing to the cold side of this vortex tube. And now this one is trying to get past 100 degrees Celsius, but it's struggling a little bit. Anyway, so I wanted some more of this compressed iron here so I can make myself a compressed iron block. And I believe you can place that, and that gathers heat or cold, depending on what's going on around it. And it'll help disperse that. You can also get some, I forget what they're called. They're like cooling fins. These things, the heat sinks. And while it's called a heat sink, I believe it will also disperse cold just the same. So you can see that's got a temperature on it. That's got a temperature on it. Yeah. Okay, so now we are the south side. We're up to 48 degrees Celsius. Doesn't really seem like we're going much hotter on the hot side, does it? I really would have expected to see this go higher, but we are struggling. It might be because we don't have enough compressor power, enough compressed air to make this go hotter. I'm going to play around with this a little bit more and see what we can come up with. Well, after some testing, I got rid of the second vortex tube. I am pretty sure we are not producing enough pressure in order to support 2 of them. But if we were producing enough pressure, I think that really would have solved our problem here. But you can see now that our temperature is up to 193. It says 188 on here. It says 193 as the north temperature on this vortex tube. I'm not sure why the discrepancy, but either way, yeah, you can see we're up quite higher than where we were before. And that's thanks to having 4 of these air compressors here. And that's just increasing the pressure that we have available. But yeah, the other vortex tube, we were just starved for the amount of pressure in the system. We probably would have needed double the amount of compressors here, and I really didn't feel like making that many more, so I decided to get rid of it. Okay, so yeah, we are doing pretty well now when we're making this LPG decently fast, like way more fast than what we were before. And in fact, I looked at the oil here, and we are using, was that 10 millibuckets? Like, maybe like 40 millibuckets per second. I'm not actually sure what the speed is of this, but yeah, it is going down at a pretty significant speed now compared to where we were before. But anyway, the thermo-pneumatic processing plant, this is what we need to take the LPG and then turn it into plastic. So let's grab a bucket of the LPG and then we'll put it into here. Okay, so this by itself doesn't do anything. Is it a liquid? Is it a gas? That's right, it's LPG, liquid propane gas. So yeah, we need to give this pressure in order for this to work. Now, this is something I didn't actually look at. Does it say what the temperature needs to be? So there needs to be coal in here. Maybe the coal provides the power. All right, let's try this. Coal. And if we put coal into here, temperature, required temperature 100 degrees, or I'm sorry, yeah, 100 degrees Celsius. Right, so we need, I guess, that other vortex tube then. All right, the other vortex tube will go right here then. And we need the tubing. How do we do this? I want to disconnect this vortex tube and connect that one without making a big mess here. I think I have to move all of these compressors in order to do this. Okay, well, this is all temporary. Let me move this stuff and then we'll be back. All right, well, it looks like we have taken 1 bucket of LPG and this turns into, I guess, 10 buckets of plastic. I didn't realize it was a 1 to 10 conversion rate on that, but yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, and then yeah, that's using 1 coal per operation here. Very good. All right, and yeah, I ended up moving our compressors here into such a way that we can like kind of swap between one or the other. So if I pop that and pop that, now we're just continuing to pressure this vortex tube over there and we don't really have to change much. But anyway, like I said, this is all temporary because we are going to be making the other whatever the flux compressor, I think is what it was called, where we can just turn it on and off at a whim and use RF to do it. So yeah, that's going to be pretty nice. So yeah, we have molten plastic now. So now that we have that, that's going to allow us to come over here and put this into a pressure chamber to make the etching acid, which will allow us to make the unassembled PCB and, you know, continue up here towards the flux compressor. But unfortunately, with all the stuff that we have done today, we have ran out of time. I know, where'd all the time go? I have no idea. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.